Hello, and Pockets here, back again playing some more EVE Online. And I did it. I made a brand new alpha, day one, using my buddy code to see what we can do. We're going to take this alpha. The plan is to go from here to the Praxis Emerging Conduits runner that I showed in a previous video. So if you didn't see that video, I can leave a link to it down below and go check it out. This is kind of the target, and I have some ideas where I want to go after that. That's kind of stage one. The reason we're focusing that direction to start is because it's a quick train. Realistically, with a day one alpha, outside of the ISK investment of about 500 to 600 million, you can fly that ship day one effectively. But we're going to do it without that. I may, depending on how long it takes, well, we'll showcase it. We'll see it. Part of the plan is we're also thinking that a Myrmidon may be a good option. So I'm going to probably, once we get the Praxis, work on training Myrmidon skills and switching into that just to see. But day one alpha, we're going to go through the tutorial. We're going to do things to make ISK in the beginning, and we're going to see how long it takes us to get into that Praxis and start running Emergings solo. We may take advantage of the Corp, Malro, so that's going to be a big thing, because a lot of this is going to be for new Malro people that are coming in. They can see how this works. So we may take advantage of joining a new bro fleet with those Praxises and borrow one from the Corp once we're there. But as such, we're going to kind of slow roll the application of the skill points in the beginning so we can use it to speed up some of the things there. But we are going to follow the early game stuff as a new bro should to learn the game. And the first thing, so this is the first time I've made a new character since the daily starter gifts were involved. So we're going to take a look at this. Looks like there's 15 days worth of gifts. Does it show all of them, or do we just see them? Yeah, we can scroll along and see what we get. That's awesome. So it looks like we're going to get some ISK, 10,000 ISK. That's helpful. Defensive ship modules, appropriate to faction. So I did start this as a Galente character because of the Myrmidon. I feel this would be equally effective on any of the starting races, since the Praxis is shield and drone based. However, starting with Caldari would get you your shield skills, your small shield skills early, and Mimitar to some extent. But going Amar or Galente, you may have to tweak the skills a bit to get the skills you need, but that's okay. We'll figure it out. I started with Galente because I want to go Myrmidon. So yeah, it looks like we get some modules on day 2 and a Cerebral Accelerator. Yeah, this is all excellent stuff. This is good. Frigate skins, cool. Okay, so let's just go ahead and claim our first 10,000. So we're going to start with, I think we start with 5,000 to begin with. So we're going to start with 15,000 interstellar credits. Bonus skill points. Oh. Gain bonus skill points every day that you log in. Once the bar is full, skill points will be delivered. Oh, so every day we log in, we get some, and then we get 10,000. That's cool. So this is going to be even easier than I thought. We're going to definitely have the ISK issue. So we're going to claim those. There we go. You can see. Boom. So I guess I counted. Yeah. All right. So there she is. This is Cassandra Rowe. You can see here in our redeemable queue, we have our 1 million skill points and our 10,000 credits. I'm going to save these. I think this one expires. We don't need to save this. We can put this one in. I'm going to double check once we're in game, but I don't think this million skill points expires, so I'm not going to put it onto the character, because that counts to towards our 5 million free skill points. You want to put that all towards the end once you're closer to that 5 million. So until I have the ISK, I kind of want to save those points. But let's get into the game right at the beginning of the tutorial. Actually, before we really get started, since it let us have the time, if you do want to donate ISK, this character is going to go off her own ISK. That's kind of the whole point, is how long an alpha would take by themselves. The one thing about the EVE communities, they're super, super helpful. So everything I do here is probably moot. You find a good group of people, they will get you set up. Malro, a lot of the guys in Malro, even outside of just Malro programs, will help people either lend or give ships, that sort of thing. So we're going to go hard mode. We're going to go full solo. If you do want to donate ISK to help my channel in general and help me keep things going, donate it to my main, Keltorin Rowe. I will bring him up here. For those that aren't familiar with him, he's sort of the star of most of my videos that aren't alpha based. Anything that's Omega, he's pretty much the guy. He's where I can use the help. So if that is the route you want to go, as I said, people have asked, and that's what I've told them. Send it to this dude, and I'll gladly accept that and put you in the credits when I get there. Okay. Captain, I realize this is your first flight, but I'm receiving a distress signal in your vicinity. It appears to be a Concord research vessel under attack from Seeker drones. The distress broadcast says that they have data vital to fighting the Seeker threat. We should investigate this, Captain. Okay. Again, this is my first time through the new one. I haven't done the new player experience since it was a big storyline thing. Wreck location confirmed. We should try to collect any data from it. So it looks like they got blowed up. So First step is to locate the wreck. This is very bright. I'm going to try to turn the camera a little. So yeah, so we're going to locate the wreck, okay? So it wants us to do it with the camera. This is not the way most people do it. This is what I'm talking about. So this is easy. When you're flying, this is not how you're going to find things. You're going to use your overview. It's very hard sometimes to find stuff like this. Okay, so we found the wreck. We clicked on it. Captain, get as close to the wreck as possible. Once we are in range, I will initialize the data transfer. Right-click the wreck and select approach command. Shortcut is Q and click. I like that they've added the shortcuts. That's the default shortcut. I don't know if this changes if you change your shortcuts, so beware of that. But if I hold Q and click on this, my ship will start approaching it. And we're just going to follow the instructions. I know I should turn on my afterburner, but a new player may not see that. So if you are a new player and you're going to go in this, you can turn on this afterburner, and you can see we go almost 200 meters per second faster with this on. It's a civilian one that's weak, but we're going to go based on what she tells us, because I'm hoping that they will show us activating the afterburner at some point in the tutorial. I mean, I really don't need rookie chat. I'm just actually going to minimize this. I know my camera's kind of in that spot anyway, but how close do we need to be? I'm like on this thing. There we go. Data transfer complete. We've detected an incoming enemy or incoming hostile ship. They know we are here. We need to execute combat maneuvers. The ship's overview lists the objects of interest in space. Use it to locate the enemy ship. And it shows us what it looks like. And it says that we can right-click the Circadian Seeker and hit approach, or Q-click on it. So same thing over here. We can right-click and hit approach, or we can hold Q and click in the overview, and it'll do the same thing. So our ship will turn and go to approach. One way to maintain range from an enemy is to orbit it, Captain. You should do this before opening fire. Right-click the Circadian Seeker, select orbit at 500 kilometers, and begin circling. So right-click, orbit. We get a list of options. We can go to current. We can go to 500 meters per second. Boom. Or 500 meters. That's excellent. There's some other stuff we can do that's more advanced. If you're going to destroy the enemy, we need to establish a sensor lock on it first. Click on the Circadian Seeker. Right-click on the Circadian, use lock target or shortcuts. So you can do it here. The other thing is if you have your information panel, a lot of things can be done up here. So there's your lock target. Or what I do is you hold control and click on it. So right-click, lock target. It's already being locked now, so it doesn't show it. Right there. No, I can unlock it now. Now it's time to engage the enemy. Click on the primary weapon button in your HUD to start firing. So that's this one right here. We can click this. Now a nice tip is if you hover over something, you'll see in the top right of its information box, its hotkey shows up. And that does, I believe that does change when you change your hotkey. So we can press F1, it starts shooting our railgun here. Civilian Gatling railgun. So it's just going to have us destroy this guy. Now I'm hoping to make this simple and I don't use too much of my veteran knowledge. I'm trying to play it as a new player. So obviously there's things that I'm just going to know, so I'll try to explain those as we go. If I miss something, definitely leave the comment down below and I'll help you sort it out. Great work. Time to head home, Captain. Need to dock at your home station where I can get the data in the right hands. Okay, so we're going to control space, stops our ship. So if you hit control space, you can see our ship is stopping. Other thing you can do is hit this minus button. Or you can also set like a speed, but we're not going to worry about that. One thing I do want to do, they don't say it here, but I'm going to loot this wreck. You can see it has a box with a filled-in box. They'll probably go over this later, but looting it here gets us an extra couple ISK. It's worth it. So we're just going to go do that before we do what she says. I'm breaking the rules already, but you can see it's got something in it because it's a filled-in, and it's white. It's not grayed out yet. Once we get there, you'll see it goes gray, but there's still something in it. Oh, we only got metal scraps. I mean, 4,000 ISK is 4,000 ISK, right? So we're just going to take it from this box and put it in our ship. We can't even carry that much. Oh no, it got rid of the can. So now you can see the wreck doesn't have the filled-in box. That means it's an empty wreck. And we can move on. So locate your home space station in the overview, right-click on it, and select dock. So we can go here. And again, we can right-click and dock. Or we can click on it, click here and dock. Or we can hold D and click on it to dock. So it all works. There's other things we can do as well. Those are more advanced. But we'll do it the way they want us to do it, right-click and dock. It's almost like Windows in its setup, where there's a task, and then there's 1,000 different ways you can get to that task. And that's It's good because it means everybody can kind of find the way they like to do things and do it that way. I know a lot of people use what's called the circle menu. A lot of people just go, you can go in here. We'll go through all that as we get further on. If there's something you want to know, definitely ask questions, because I know I'm going to miss 7 of the 12 ways to do things because I have my own habits. So green over here means this someone's in our corp. We're in the Nubro starter corp, so obviously they are as well. That's what this green means. And it would show up that way in chat too if we had that up. So if I bring back up the corp channel, you can see everybody here is green. And if we go to local, you can see that some of these people are in our corp and some of them aren't. Ooh, an Omega offer. Cool. Okay, so let's see what's down here. Before we go anything else, we've got all this mess. I just want to make sure we get everything right. So this is your daily login campaigns. So if we click on this, it's that same thing we saw at load in. Obviously, we've already claimed it, so that's fine. It's just there to remind us. We'll claim that other one tomorrow. And this is our unclaimed items. So you can see here's our skill points. And if we go, there's no expiry. So if there's an expiry, it would be over here. It would say expires 128 days or 180 days. I should have left the other thing there so you could see it, but we're not going to claim those right now. We may actually get something in the redeem queue as part of the tutorial as well. Welcome to your home station. You'll be safe here. Well, yeah, until you undock. I have submitted the data we've recovered to Concord. They handle all matters related to security. Click on the agency button. So here's the agency. I'm glad they're showing this. This is a good place. I like this. Concord tasked us with further investigations into the data we recovered. Select the tutorial section and press activate to begin the mission. Oh, I like it. So other than that initial familiarization, which is super important, because that does tell you first how to move your ship around, which is critical because everything is that. After that, a player can decide whether they actually want to do the tutorial or they just want to figure it out for themselves. But I highly, highly recommend for a first player, do the tutorial. I do get that question. It's like they come to Malro and it's like, yeah, you can come, do the tutorial, do one set of career agents, and we'll get to that. So go into the tutorial. Ooh. Begin the investigation. Lock. There's all sorts of fun stuff. Okay. Long-range scanners have confirmed the presence of seekers at a strange wreckage site. Clearing them so investigators can move in is your mission. Investigate the target. Investigate. I'm going to take a pause. I'm going to reset my brain, and we're going to read. Navigate to your target and destroy it. 10,000 ISK. Okay, so good. So we can undock. Okay, I have received all mission information. Exit the station to proceed. Click the undock button in your station service panel to the exit screen. So this big yellow button, this is undock. You click that. If you click it again, you abort the dock. So you're like, oh no, I don't want to. That's a critical thing. Sometimes you might undock and realize you didn't load your guns. You want to click that quick. At some point, you undock and you can't click it anymore, but that's okay. So you can do it here as well. I'm forgetting they've added buttons over here, but doing it over here is the better way because you're going to be able to do that even when you don't have a task. You're now in space and will need to travel to the mission location. When you're ready to begin your mission, warp to the mission site. Click the warp to location in the tutorial information panel. So over here is our tutorial information panel. You can see there's a warp to button. If one thing I've noticed, and it may come up, but I'm going to talk about it. If you suspect there should be a button here for you to use and it doesn't show up, go up here and just minimize and re-show. I've had that a few times with missions where it has warp to location not here, but I can refresh it. It's a bug. Maybe it's fixed, maybe it's not, but if you do see it, just refresh it. The other thing we can do, so right here we don't know. So this is a good point. We don't know where the mission is. It's not in our overview because it's not there. It's spawned just for us. So you can click on this blue button. The other option is you can go in here and investigations, begin the investigations, warp to location. So you can just right click an empty space and it's in there as well. So if you don't want this taking up room on your window, you can do that. But I just use the blue button now because it's nice and easy. And it's always there when you have a mission. That's the thing. If you're doing missions, it'll be there. Now we just align. So that's what this bar right here is. We'll talk about that again next time I warp. Aligning in Eve is an interesting thing. So I'll try to remember to talk about it while I'm doing it. But it's about getting to a fast enough speed towards your destination to initiate a jump, a warp. And that's what that bar is. As that bar fills up, you're getting closer and closer to the point where you can activate that. That speed is 25% of your maximum speed towards the target. One thing that messes a lot of people up is you may be traveling at 100% speed, but you're still turning, so you're actually traveling in like an arc at that speed, not directly towards the target. And that's kind of what that bar is to compensate for the fact that it's not just 75%, it's 75% towards the target. From a standstill, it doesn't matter, but the site appears to have been recently attacked. We should look around in case the attackers are still present. Hold down the left mouse button and move your mouse to rotate the camera. Okay. Wrong button, that was right. So that's how you rotate around your ship and you can look for things. Captain, there are seekers out here. Our mission is to eliminate them. Approach the nearest one seeker first. So remember, that's click on the target and hold Q and click on the target, and we should align to them. We should lock our targets. Right-click the seeker and select lock target. Or we can use control. Now this is obviously a long way. If you hold control, you can just sort of click down the list. So if we had two, we can go control, click, click, it'll lock both. If we have the room for it. Ready to fire, Captain, proceed to destroy. So we're going to orbit the first one. Once you have them locked, you can also do everything up here that you could do in the overview on this picture of them. So now you can see we're orbiting the seeker, and we're going to activate our guns. Other critical thing is if you want this in a different position, you have this little circle, you can move it wherever you want. It kind of aligns to like a lock position, but we won't play with that right now. There's all sorts of things. You can move everything, but I want to leave where it is in case the tutorial points at it. So we have them both locked. It's probably going to tell us to lock the second one, but you can do them both. It saves time because we're not going to spend time locking the second target. Okay, so first one's down. So we're going to do the same thing. W to click to orbit, or we can right click orbit at whatever distance, or we can click and orbit at our default, which we can set. We'll get there. And shoot. There we go. And that's basically 90% of playing Eve, is just telling your ship what to do. You're like the commander in the commander's chair giving orders. There are ways to manually do some things, but it's not really that... I mean, once you're super advanced, it helps. There's some things you can do in PvP really cool with manual piloting, but really this is at its core what we do. A lot of the strategy in Eve happens before you even undock your ship, to be honest. Well done, Captain. You've successfully completed your first mission. Open the tutorial in the agency and claim your reward. Okay. I'm not sure what popped up while I was talking. It may have been telling me to loot these wrecks, which I already did. That's just a habit, so I'm sorry. Okay. So we can go here. Now we're in space. Oh, good. It's blue. We did it. Claim the rewards. 10,000 ISK. Fortress in the rocks. With the new data we recovered, thanks to your efforts, we have pinpointed a mined-out rock formation as the location of the Sleeper Enclave. We want you to take out its perimeter defenses. So gain experience with using weapon range. Oh, good. I like this. This is good information. All right. This is stuff that comes up all the time, so I'm hoping they explained it well enough that it becomes less of a hurdle. I'm going to actually go ahead and minimize this again because I don't want to see it. Concord has transferred the ISK reward to your account for completing your latest assignment. You can use your wallet to track your ISK. Click on the wallet button to see your account balance. Boom. So here we have it. There's our payout. So there's the 5,000 you start with. There's 10,000 we redeemed from our daily login, and 10,000 for the mission. Awesome. Incoming data. Close the wallet to continue. So there's all sorts of other things that can happen in here as you get further in the game. These tabs will become important to you. This is the main one you use because this tells you your total balance and where the money's coming and going from. It's really cool. And this is your Plex balance, but we won't worry about that right now. Close the wallet. The tutorial mission coordinates received. Click warp to location in the tutorial information panel. So this is another mission pocket. They call them pockets. It's a site. It's an area of space dedicated to whatever it is you're trying to do. And there's different types of pockets, which we'll get into as we go. Warp to location. Okay. So you can see here I'm aligning. It's turning the ship, and my speed is accelerating. Once I hit the 75 tick in a straight line, this bar should be about full, and we'll warp. If you're already going in a direction, this will fill up faster than this in a lot of cases, depending on the agility and speed of your ship. But that bar will tell you when you're about to initiate warp. It can help, so you know if there's a problem. Like, if you see this bar stopped, it means there's an issue. You're hung up on something, there's something in the way, you're bouncing off something. So you may need to stop your ship and try again, reposition. But we'll get into that we'll get into that later. It shouldn't happen in the tutorial. It should be pretty safe. Hostile sentry towers detected, Captain. We need to destroy them to secure the site. I have highlighted the closest. So that's what this icon here. It's like a square with two little lines. That's your sentry towers. So those are non-moving weapons of destruction. So we click on it. There we go. Highlighted the closest tower. Okay. The towers outside our weapon's optimal range. Move your mouse over the primary weapon to see the optimal and fall-off ranges. So if we hover over this, you'll see civilian Gatling gun, F1 to shoot this specific slot. The fall-off range is within 7,380 meters, and optimal range is within 5,280. And that shows our damage per second, the types of damage and how much it is, and our tracking speed. That all comes into play. Fly to optimal range, then lock the target and fire your primary weapon. So it wants us to fly within 5,000 meters, because that's the point at which, at 5,000, that's when we do the maximum damage, and damage falls off as you get outside of that into the fall-off range. Makes sense. So it wants us to get within 5,000 and then start shooting. So it wants us to do it. So there's the first one. We're going to orbit at 1,000. That's going to move our ship. Now it wants us to lock once we're in range, but you can actually just pre-lock it if it's within your lock range. So we have 26 kilometers. So we can't lock this further one yet because we only can lock out to 26. One thing to note is sometimes they'll be like 26.5 and your lock is like 26.4. It'll look like you're in range, but you're not. So just get closer. And once we're within 5,000, we start shooting. 5,280. So you can see it here. You can actually start a little early because there's a slight lag. The server sees you as closer than you are, but really, once you're within that optimal, oops, I accidentally turned it off. Then you start shooting. You can shoot from outside that and get some little bit of damage in before. It's all going to depend on your ship and the fitting and what its intended purpose is. But for the purpose of this, get within, even under. Most of the stuff we're fighting won't be a tracking issue. So you can see we're doing a little bit of damage. So you can hover and see that we should be doing about 7 damage per shot, 3 thermal and 4 kinetic. So like that was a good hit. This is a critical hit, so we did extra. I guess I didn't see it. It may not have been critical, but it was a bigger hit. And then at the speed the gun fires, if we're doing 7 damage per shot, at the speed the gun fires, we're doing 3.7 damage per second. So I hope you can see that. I hope I explained that clearly. I think I did. So we got our 2 different damage types. You add them together, divided by the rate of fire of the gun. That's our DPS. Things are going to come into play here like distance, tracking, the specific resists of the target, so how much resistance it has against the damage types we're doing, all sorts of things. But for now, that's simple. Now we need to destroy the second tower. Target may be on our locking range. It is. Move closer to engage and destroy. If you're unable to lock the target, your weapons appear ineffective. Fly closer. See, perfect. I said that because I know it was something that was missing previously. It's right in here. Good job. So far, so good. We're going to click on this. We have our default orbit up here at 1,000, so we're going to click that. We could set this. If you right-click, you can set your default orbit. For now, let's not play with that because 1,000 is fine. And once we said it's within 26, so if I try to lock it here, it must be within 26 kilometers, so we'll get some distance on here. So we can't lock it at its current state. So all I'm doing is holding control and clicking on it. The other thing is you'll know you're in locking range when this icon lights up, or when lock target shows up here. You see it's not here yet? We're going to go slow. So we'll watch for this icon. There, so it's in locking range. You'll see lock target is now in the drop-down menu, and we can control click on it and lock the target. Now, our guns only shoot out to, realistically, with rail guns, with what we have, we want 7,000 kilometers. So we have a hot minute. In this case, you can go ahead and activate your afterburner, which will bring up our speed. You can see it's climbing, and that'll get us in a little faster. I'm hoping at some point they show us that for the people that aren't watching know-it-all like me do it. I don't actually think I know anything. Know-it-all. I don't know anything really. In the grand scheme of things, there's a lot of stuff in Eve, and I don't know the half of it, to be honest. So we're almost within range. There we go. We can start shooting once we're at that optimal. It means it does less damage until we close the distance, but so red damage is there coming back, so you can see they're doing 5, and that's thermal damage. At this point, the specific damage types don't actually matter because we're not at the more advanced level of fitting theory. Some of that I talk about in my other videos. I just don't want to overwhelm people with tons of information. We'll get to it when we need it. We'll be using that once we start doing our own thing. So I am trying to decide what the best path while we do this. Oh, never mind. So I'm trying. Well done, Captain. The site is now secure. The secret threat in this system appears to be growing. We should improve your combat capabilities. Open the character sheet to continue. Okay. So this is where I'm gonna stop my ship because it's a habit. Control space. Usually what I would do is dock up before I do anything where I'm not looking at the screen, because space can be dangerous. You don't want to just be sitting in your ship where it can be killed. But for this, I think we're pretty safe in the tutorial. That's a pretty cool character sheet. That's where we're at. Okay. So I either cut it out or I didn't, but I grabbed some screenshots. So this is Cassandra Rowe's character sheet. What do you want me to do? Moving out of the way so I can read this. So that's the nice thing. Again, you can move this wherever you need it. Hopefully you guys can see it all good. Skill training is vital for your progression. The skills you choose will prepare you for the path through the stars. Training gunnery skills will improve various aspects of your combat performance. Under the skills tab, click on a category and pick the skill you wish to train. I'd recommend the category gunnery and the skill surgical strike. Mouse over the skill for information. Drag the skill into the training queue to start training. Okay, so we are going to follow this. I know it means that we're going to spend a little more points retraining, but realistically we're not training missile skills anyway to start, really, except for maybe light missiles. We'll see. So we're going to go in here. This is all your different skill categories. So on the skills tab, character sheet, there's other tabs we'll look at eventually. Here's your total skill points. So right now this character has 386,000 skill points. That's your starting because we haven't trained anything yet. And we do, remember, have 1,000,000 skill points here in the redeem queue, waiting for us to pull those out and apply them to the character. They'll show up down here right next to these two icons, which is how you interact with them. If we did it now, this number would become 1,386,000. And once this number hits 5 million, you no longer get your free time-based training queue that we're about to use. So keep that in mind. Once you hit 5 million, it'll stop this queue that we're about to fill up. There are ways to get more skill points, and Alpha can go up to 20 million, but the free queue only goes to 5 million. So choose your first. I mean, there's not a lot of damage you can do in this beginning set, especially if you intend to use some other tricks to get skill points. One of the things we're definitely going to look at are daily injectors and that sort of thing, so we'll get there. But a lot of that I like to save till the end. It takes a long time to get to 5 million as well. So gunnery, and it recommended training gunnery and surgical strike. So if we highlight over gunnery, it's 9 days to get skill level 5. Now, one thing I'm going to say is early on, don't worry about getting to 5 on most skills. At the very beginning, getting things to 3 or 4 is much better. Because what happens is, so here we got 2% bonus to weapon turret rate of fire per skill. So we have 4 levels, we're getting 8% bonus to the rate of fire of our gun. This means a lot of things. If we go to 5, we're going to go up to 10%, which is only 2% more. So we're already getting 80% of the benefit of this skill. And it's going to take us 9 days to get that extra 20% of the skill. The other thing to remember is some weapon systems use other resources. So the railguns use capacitor. The rate of fire means that we're using capacitor faster. Now, it's not a big deal. If you train this to 5, you're going to be just fine. But it is sort of a meta thing to think about is we're already at 80% of this skill, which is the bigger problem. So we're better off training some of these skills. So for example, small turrets, there's a 5% bonus to small hybrid turret damage per level. So gunnery affects all turret-based weapons. If you're Amar, that's lasers, Mimitars, projectiles, Galente, and Caldari is railguns, blasters, hybrid turrets. Doesn't affect missiles, but it affects the other 3 weapon systems, main weapon systems. Missiles and stuff are their own beast. Whereas this one only affects hybrid turrets. So that's our blasters and our railguns, and mostly used by Caldari and Galente. But right now we're only getting 20% of the benefit. We've got 1 level train, so we're getting 5%. So putting this up to 2 or 3 or even 4, so you can see here that's a 2-day train, but we're instead of getting a 2% bonus here, we're focusing in on these hybrid turrets, and we're going to end up with a 4 times 5%, 20% bonus to hybrid turret damage. Much better use of our early time. Other things to consider is, here's another rapid fire. So skillet, the rapid discharge of weapon turrets, 4% bonus per skill level to the turret rate of fire. So gunnery gives us 2% bonus to the weapon's rate of fire. Rapid fire gives us 4% per level. So even training 1 more skill in this at 14 hours is, we get to 60% of the benefit of rapid fire, but it's also giving us double what this is. So keep that in mind. Motion prediction for tracking, that sort of thing. But for now, we're going to use this one because this gives us the biggest bang. We're getting 5% per level, so within an hour, we'll have an extra 5% damage. Nothing we have to we click here because it just goes into this queue. So this is the queue. You can train up to 1 day, typically. But because our first 2 skills don't get us to 24 hours and our last one does put us over, we can actually fit some more skills in between here and get this up to 2 or 3 days, right? So I could go through and say, right now we're at 8 hours, so I could put this one in. As long as we don't get these up over 24 hours, we can put a long one at the end. That way if we don't log in for a day, it doesn't matter, right? So I'm going to actually throw this in towards the end. So this is kind of sort of advanced. Don't talk about it too much, but they're probably going to have us change our queue, but this is what I would do. I would try to, unless I really needed this skill, I would try to fill this with like 23.5 hours and then one that's over a day, for example. So what are we at? 14, 22, 23. Yeah, so we're at very close. We have, if you look here, about 8 hours that we could use, looks like. No, not even, because we can count for this. So I think we're probably about where we want to be. So we're going to close that. That's 2 days, which means if I don't log in tomorrow, I'm still training. I'm not losing any time. Back to the tutorial. Aurora, our mission here is complete Captain, open the tutorial agency, and claim your reward. Yes, please. So in this case, we're going to get another 15,000 ISK. 40,000. We're almost at our goal of 600 million. Measuring the threat. Accumulated data on our latest scanner results points to an attempt to build a new sleeper enclave network here in Empire space. We have located an active preservation enclave. Scout it for us. Use tactics of mobility and your weapons tracking. Okay, so this can teach us about all that stuff I talked about or hinted at about tracking. I like this. This is good. This is the stuff that people need to know. So read all this. If you're new, read through it. Once you're done, there are lots of places to get way more detailed, but they're going to teach you the very core ideas, and that's good. I like that. So we'd have another mission. It's in the same system, so that's good. You can see my chat here is flashing. It just means there's a new message. I'm not going to look at it. So while we're aligning and getting into warp, Malro is recruiting. I'm going to get a better graphic for this, but for now. So if you want more information, down in the description there'll be a link to a very temporary webpage. It's a little information sheet with a link to our Discord. You can also see malro.org down there in the on that side, the left side. So if you were interested in checking out a Nubro friendly court, we're like 1,000 members strong right now. Everything's going awesome. We're daily activity is great. And you have some questions, come check us out. All right. Captain, the Sleeper's Enclave is fully operational. We have to report this, but first we should take out any remaining enemies. Okay. So they want us to take out this guy. Now they're just not walking us through it. We're going to do our own process that we've learned. So that was Control-Click to lock him. That's a habit. You'll see me do that a lot. It's the fastest way outside of coming out here and doing another thing, which we won't talk about. But that's how I like to do it, because I can pick and choose my targets. There is a way to target everything, but we're not going to use that today. They may show us that. I don't know. So one other thing I like to do is I kind of like to see everything that's going on. So you can play zoomed out like this. You can see this is your ship. This is the enemy ship. You're flying towards it. And at some point, we're going to start orbiting. Once we're under, that's about right. Yeah, 7,000. We can start shooting. But you can zoom in like this. This is track the target. So if I do that, it's going to keep our ship centered in the screen. I'm pointing at the screen like you can see it. But we're going to track the target that is selected here or here. Well, it's a target that's selected here. So you can see that we're rotating around this guy, but our camera keeps him focused with our ship roughly centered. Not quite centered, but it's in the frame. Smaller, more agile enemy ship detected. It'll be harder to hit with your weapons. Okay. Destroy the enemy ship and secure the site. So again, lock target, orbit, afterburners on. So smaller targets have smaller, what's called signature radiuses. They take a little longer to target. The bigger your ship, the longer that even takes. So it's a compounding issue. So the smaller their ship and the bigger your ship, the longer it takes. So we may see a miss. We'll see what they do here. I'm going to start shooting right at about 7,000. Oh, we did hit it. Okay. So depending on how fast he's going around us, his size, our tracking, all sorts of things come into play. But you can see we're missing. Okay. So what do we need to do? How could we fix this? Well, we know that our optimal range is like 5,000. So let's try setting our default orbit to 5,000. 5,000. So I right-clicked, set default orbit, set it to 5,000. and then reinitiate the orbit. We'll see if we're fast enough to pull some range. One of the things it doesn't show here is the speed. It's something I show on my overview so I can see how fast they're going. So you can see we're actually pulling away. That's good. And as we get out, we're going to stop missing. And then we're going to turn to orbit at about our optimal. Now we might have gone a little far, but we'll see. Because our speed is going to take us a second to fall into a proper pattern. There's way more efficient ways to do this kind of thing, manually piloting, but for the tutorial we don't need to go there. This works in 90% of PvE activities, and depending on your opponent, could work in PvP as well. So it doesn't say to loot. We're going to go do it anyway, because we're going to scrimp and save. So yeah, I saw that worked. I pulled away from the target, and as I got closer to that optimal, I started applying better, because he was traveling at a less angular velocity. I need to like add diagrams and stuff, but we'll get into that more advanced stuff as we go. I do have some discussions of that already on the channel. If you need help finding it, let me know. I can help you find the videos where I do talk about tracking. I have one with a MOA that does an okay job. I don't know if it's perfect. I'm sure I got some stuff wrong or just very close to right, but it helps. So yeah, we're up to like, you know, we've looted half our total value. But again, once we get further along, we're not going to loot metal scraps. I was curious to see what they actually do drop in loot. It looks like they're not dropping anything of value. But we're going to get 20,000 here, so obviously maybe burning through the missions faster is more efficient. But I like to sort of explore. Ooh, I like it. I'm going to try something different. A spatial rift has been detected by our scanners. Investigate its origin and return back to us swiftly. Beware of gravitational anomalies and maintain your speed at all times. Using your afterburner to increase your ship speed. So we've already done that. I'm going to turn it off, pretend I didn't do it. We're going to get 2 light electron blasters and 3,000 iron charges. This is good. They're giving us real guns this time, after we've completed this. Because right now, civilian guns, they're only good in the tutorial. After the tutorial, they're pretty useless. I don't know. I don't know if I've seen a legitimate use for them. Mission coordinates, warp to locations. We've done that. It's going to teach us about the afterburner. All right. So I think with this character, as we're warping and stuff, I think I'm going to start with the career missions. And then from there I got to decide if I want to run missions, which I've done a whole series on, but I want to maybe, now that alphas can't get level 4 missions, a third of it is kind of gone. I may just do combat exploration. So if you have a preference, if you want to see how to run like anomalies, since this is kind of what we're trying to, the path we're on is combat anomalies into emergings, into running fleet invasions, kind of. It may be that we want to just do that. Spatial rift detected, Captain. It's being created by a powerful gate of some kind. Eliminate the hostiles and secure your site. Activate your afterburner to move it into engagement range. So activate your afterburner by clicking on the module in your ship's HUD to increase your speed. Or as we know, we can highlight it and see that Alt F1 activates this first slot. One thing we'll see. Actually, no. You know what? Don't worry about it. So yeah, anyway, while I do this, so I'm thinking I might just do straight up anomalies. Once I've done the career missions, I'll skip level 1 missions, level 2 missions, level 3 missions. I'm going to try a different path, which I haven't actually done as a fresh alpha. And that is, okay, so we're going to lock this guy, and we want to orbit him at 5,000. We know that because we don't want to get too close on these smaller targets, because then we start having tracking issues and start missing shots, which lowers our damage. But yeah, so that's going to be a thing. So I'll probably end up just doing that, where we'll start doing like refuges in frigates and working our way up to being able to do the escalations as part of the overall goal of getting to that emerging praxis. It'll be drone boat heavy because we're training drones. Oh, we didn't do part of the mission. Let's activate the afterburner and speed this baby up. So he started shooting at us. He's doing thermal and EM damage. One at a time, and we're going to start shooting just before 7,000. I think we'll probably miss our first shot. Railgun. These railguns aren't amazing. So we probably missed that shot. Yeah, see, so where I was outside, so I missed. Let's just see what it does. Missed. Missed. There's a hit. So we're starting to get in. Actually, he's pretty fast. We need to, like, close in on him. He's maybe faster than us. So we can't really orbit him very effectively. So what we're going to do is we're going to set our keep it range to 5,000. This is something they haven't shown us yet, but we're going to do it. So one thing we can do is we can set keep it range, or what we might do is set our default orbit a little closer so we're turning tighter. Let's try 4,000. So we're kind of holding at this range. Let's try to close in. So I'm just refreshing, so now we're going to try to scoop in tighter. And after a while, you'll get a feel for what you need to do. Like, I'm pretty sure I need to get a lot shorter. I think I need to orbit at 1,000 probably on this guy because we need to close 2,000 or 3,000 here. So that's not working. Let's set it to 2,000 and try again. And if that doesn't work, we're going to just approach him, which is another option. Keep at range is nice because it sets a range where you're going to try to keep your ship at that range. One of the problems with it is once you get close, it kind of stops and turns your ship around and you fly away, and then so you can actually get hit a lot harder. So that brought us in a little closer. This one we're just going to approach because I think he's faster than us on the turning. So this way now we're just going to follow him in a circle. And now we're starting to close the distance. And we're going to start hitting him. Again, if my overview showed speed, we'd actually have a better idea of how things would have to work. But that's, again, that may be too much information. Just knowing that if you're not hitting it, try approaching. You can play with keep at range if you want, but there we go. We're not going to bother looting. We're going to loot it. I can't. Well done, Captain. Now it's time to upgrade your ship. You'll need to dock at a station before you accept the next task. Okay. I want to see what's in this loot box. Probably just scraps. Yeah. Okay. Again, because I don't know, this is a test, and it wants us to dock at our station. So, there's lots of options. You can click on this station. This is our station. So this is an NPC station. Player stations look different. If you're looking for an NPC station, use this. We can right-click. We can click dock. We can click dock up here. Or we can right-click, go to stations, find the station we want if there's more of them, and dock at it here. Lots of ways you can do it. When you have a mission, a lot of times it'll show up over here as well. It's not doing it in this case. That's fine. Refresh it and see if it shows up. Yeah, so it would have been here. See how there's a button here now? It just didn't refresh. So if I had refreshed it, there would have been a dock button here as well. So yeah, just pick the way you're most comfortable. I like mostly using the overview and up here when I'm in combat, and then when I'm trying to dock at when I'm trying to dock at things I know, I try to use the right-click menu. But usually it develops the overview because it's all right here. And once this is set up how you like it, all the information's here, laid out the way you like it. It's pretty wonderful. We will talk about overview. We'll probably do that after the tutorial, maybe after the career agents, but we'll see. There's a lot of work to setting up your own though, so I do recommend, especially for a new player, is to find one to use. And I'll see if I can dig up. There's a few. I don't use them anymore because I have one that I've been sort of tweaking. It's an old faction warfare one. But if you would like an idea of what else is out there, just put a comment section in the comments down below, and I'll send you some links to information about pre-built overviews that are pretty decent, that I like. Mission complete. Open the tutorial in the agency and claim. Activate a rift in space. We're going to activate that. So we're going to get these guns. Boom. Next up. Upgrades is offered. It's time to upgrade your ship's combat capabilities. You have recently been rewarded with new weapons. Let us fit them to your ship. So we're going to fit them to the ship, and we're going to get 10,000 credits. Activate. Okay. I was like, is she going to tell me what to do? I mean, I know what to do, but... The fitting window is where you can upgrade your ship's equipment. Okay, so over here, this little icon, this is your fitting window. You can click on that to open it. This is the Neocom. Everything's over here as well. So you have usually your fitting here. If it's not there, you usually find it in here. I think it's under ship fitting. Okay, so that's kind of the three places you can find it if you can't seem to find it. If this is gone and you don't see it over here, just click on the hamburger menu, go down to ship, and go to fitting. All three of them open the same tool. This is your fitting tool right here. This is one of my favorite parts of the game. Not gonna lie, fitting ships. Okay, so you've just received some new weapons. In order to fit them to your ship first needs to remove your old weapons. In the fitting window, right-click on a turret and select Unfit to remove it. Once you have 2 slots available to you, we will attach your new turret. So, yeah, so you can just right-click on it and hit Remove from Ship, Unfit right here. What most people I know tend to do is you have your inventory. So right here, this is your inventory. This is your inventory. You've got your ship. This is our current ship and what's in the ship. This is your ship hangar. This is where all your ships that you're in, is this case, or just the ships you have in this station, this one location, show. And then your item hangar, any items. So we got these as a gift into our item hangar. These are only available in this one station at this time. And that's the other thing you can do is just click and drag back and forth. Right, so I unfit it by dragging it across. I could right click unfit, but I'm not sure they're going to show that part. It's a lot faster. Now proceed to fit the new weapons to your ship. Select the highlighted turrets, drag them to the fitting window. Okay, so now they're showing us the drag. The other thing you can do is right click fit to active ship. But I tend to just do this. Just throw it on. It finds the slot for it if it's open. So they want all the weapons. Okay, good. His more advanced weapons will need to be loaded with ammunition before they can fire. You may need reserves during combat to be sure to store excess ammunition in your ship's cargo. So select the highlighted ammo and drag it onto the fitting window. This will automatically load your turrets with the ammo. Any excessive ammo should be placed in the highlighted cargo. Okay, so this is our ammo. We have iron charges. S is for small guns. M is for medium guns. Large, extra large. Depends on the size of ship and gun you're using. Over here we have light electron blasters. There's information we can get, but we know it's a small weapon. So let's just go ahead and throw this ammo. Drag it into the fitting window, and our guns are now loaded. So you can see here it's a fair upgrade. We're now doing 10 damage per shot and 6.3 damage per second. But being blasters, they're much closer range. All the information we need is right there. We know we're doing thermal and kinetic. Hybrid turrets always do thermal and kinetic. It's just a matter of where the balance is between thermal and kinetic. Other weapons do different damage types. Upgrade complete. Okay, so it wants us to put it in the cargo. A few ways we can do that. This here is our cargo hold for the ship, the active ship. So our drone bay, which we'll probably get to eventually. Right, so we have our cargo hold here. This is what's on our ship. We're going to take these scraps out and put them just in the item hanger. And our drone bay. These correspond with these. Right, so in here it's empty. 135 meters squared capacity. Here, 0 out of 135 for the cargo bay and the drone bay. So we can click this. We can open its own window if we want. All sorts of fun stuff. So we want the ammo in our ship. We can drag it here. It puts it in, or we can drag it from here to put it in our ship. Whichever you prefer. It's all good. Close the fitting window. I just like to show alternate routes and more efficient ways that I do things that people have seen if they watch my videos. So continue your investigation cap and open the tutorial. We know how to do this. Claim our reward. Another 10,000. Are we? 70,000. Not bad. Coming along nicely. Offered mission. Battle in the ruins. I honestly wish the real mission layout was more like this, but shh, hopefully they redo the actual missions, because this is nice. I like this. They'd have to do a lot of changes for that, though. This is an alert situation. We have a report of an attack on an SOE research station by Seekers, Sisters of Eve. They're another faction. We think they've been searching for this station all along. Go there and remove the Seeker threat. Apply everything you've learned in this combat mission. We get 100,000 ISK for that. So there's our undock button over here. There's an undock button over here. Okay. So you can use either option. So far the tutorial seems to be pretty thorough. If people read through it again, it's hard for me to really judge because I know all this, but it seems pretty thorough. It's time to put everything you've learned to practice. Travel to the site and eliminate the hostile targets to secure the site. You have 2 weapons now, remember, to use both of them. Oh yeah, so we have 2 weapons. So now we look. We have a blaster on F1. We have a blaster on F2, so we can press those 2 buttons to activate our guns. And you can see they tell us that here, 1 and 2. Okay, so we're going to warp to the site. Once again, because this is a mission, it won't show up in your overview, but it will show up in your right-click menu if that's how you prefer to do it. There's a circle menu too. I don't typically use it, so I'll have to leave that alone for now. It's something I've been trying to practice, but when things get rolling, you don't want to be trying new things. I have to dedicate some time to that, I think. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and finish up this tutorial here in just this one video, and then in the next video we can roll right into career agents and get through that. The career agents are great because you're going to get ships, you're going to get ISK, you're going to get skill books and skill points and ammo and all sorts of things. And you can do the career mission for each faction. I think there's 4 different career agents, so you can go through the process 4 times and collect all that as income. Not sure if we're going to do that in this case, but we'll see. We'll see where we go after the first run through. But again, I highly recommend doing the tutorial. I highly recommend going through all of the career agents, even if it's stuff that you're not sure you're interested in. Like say you're not interested in industry, I still recommend doing the industry so you understand what it takes. Right? So we're orbiting, we're locking our targets. We are afterburners on with Alt F1 because we looked at our hotkeys. It didn't work. We're going to try it again. Yes, Alt F1. Turn. Oh, I see there was some input lag there. It turned on, now I just turned it off. We are F1, F2 to shoot our guns at our target now that they're... Oh, wait a minute. They're just outside our optimal, but that's okay. We've closed it since we turned it on. We're going to Alt F1 again. There we go. It was input lag. You can see how fast we're chewing through these. Oh, okay, we're going to orbit this guy now. And we're going to try and wipe out this turret, this tower. But again, we have a range. We have what? We have to wait till we're at least 3,000 kilometers because hybrids in general don't operate very well outside of their fall-off range. There's some gun systems that are okay. Projectiles are usually alright. Slightly outside. Okay, 1 and 2. F1 and F2. Beautiful. Both guns going. And we're missing because we're going too fast, but we're good. We got him. New target. Okay. We're going to... Well, we can't target him. We're too far. Okay, start our orbit burn towards him. We still have ammo. We're good. I don't want to... There's things I'm going to do here, but I want to see if they show us how to do them. If not, we'll talk about it after the last mission. So you can see here there's a rock potentially in the way. I don't think we're actually that close. So we'll get to this guy before we get to this giant rock. Yeah, so we can come out here like that, and you can see he's on this side. Sometimes you got to be careful. This guy could be over here, and then we'll bounce off this rock. We'll have to like make sure we go around the rock. But I didn't think they were going to do that in the tutorial. We can lock this guy now, so let's do that before we get in range, so we can shoot as soon as we're under 3,000 kilometers. So you can see the range right here. It's 11,000 or 11 kilometers. 10 kilometers. 9, 8. Where is he taking us? Let's track him so we can see. Okay, he's kind of still hovering over there. We might bounce off stuff. We'll see. Kind of taking us in there. We're under 5, under 4. F1, F2. I just two-fingered them. So we're a little close, or a little far. So with a blaster, what might actually help us here is to get rid of some of our traversal by approaching him. Blasters are a close-range weapon, and you just want to eliminate as much traversal as you can. So we're going to try and approach. We'll see if we can get him to stop circling. See if we can hit him. Yeah, I could see this being a little bit annoying. They don't really show you. So approaching isn't working. Okay, let's pull away. Let's let him come chase us. See what that does. So what I just did, actually, for the record, is I looked at a piece and I double-clicked out in open space, and that just sends your ship off in that direction. So now you can see he's going to pull around behind us, and he should start chasing us. So this is where like a keep it range would help. So we're going to set that to 1,000. And we're just going to keep going towards and away from him at 1,000. See how that works. Now that we've pulled some distance, we'll come in on him. And this is just some advanced piloting, how you would try to get your weapons to apply. Now, obviously, we're way outside our optimal, and we're probably we'd want to stop shooting, maybe. But we're just going to just go all in here. So here's fast, so we closed the distance. Now we got max traversal as he goes by, but we managed to hit him enough to kill him. Oh, another target. We'll lock that. Where is he? So we can actually just hold C and click. That's how you track with a hotkey. That's what I usually do. And we're going to approach this guy. And we're going to try everything we just learned. Now you see that we're going to have this rock in the way. So I'm going to see if we bounce off of it. Just to see. Probably will. They may have made these ghosts. Maybe. Yeah, there we go. We just bounced. You can see that. So what you can do is, like I showed you, double click to go around it. So we're going to double click down here. So we're going to come down and around this rock. And once we have clear space, we go back to the approach. So that's something I would like to see them is, and they may do it. This would have been a good one to have these things where I don't know how they would work it into this type of tutorial, but telling you how to just double click in space and how to, it's hard to say because that's really kind of tricky to explain in text, which is kind of why I like to show it here. So adjusting our angle of attack and how we're approaching or pulling away from or orbiting the target to try and get as much traversal as we can. We're in range and we want to start shooting right away. We're on approach right now. We're going to start tracking this guy so we can see what's happening. So you can see he's flying across our guns this way. We're flying across his guns this way. That's all traversal that's affecting how well we hit them. So we're going to grab the closest one. We're going to approach him. We're going to track him so we can see. He's on the other side of this building. Oh no, he's on this side of the building, I think. Yeah, you can see his jets, his colors. So he's on this side of the station. And once he's under 26, we're just going to start targeting. That's holding control. One thing I do recommend is we sort by this icon column. And it groups all the ships together so they're not interspersed between the other types of icons. So you only have to focus on one area. That also helps a lot. And the default, that's something to do. Alright, we're almost on range. We need to get under 3,000 because we have our close range guns, our blasters. And we're not likely to hit with them at like 4 or 5,000. I mean, we could if he's big. Like this guy's big enough, we might hit at 4,000. We did miss him. So because he's a big, slow target, let's set our default orbit to 500. I know we can use right-click menu, but that's fine. So we're going to orbit this guy at 500. And just try to keep him on our guns. So you see now there's got yellow boxes on us. This one's yellow. This one's now it's red. Yellow means they're targeting you, but they haven't aggressed or shot at you yet. When they turn red, that means they're shooting at you. If they go back to yellow, they're no longer shooting at you. So if you're in a fleet, that's what those different colors mean. So if it's yellow, it means they have you targeted, but they're not shooting you, which means they're shooting somebody else or doing something else. Either they're out of range and can't shoot you, or they're shooting a different target. For example, if we had drones, we'd have to worry about it. If they're yellow, they're probably shooting our drones, right? Next one, this guy's close. We're going to orbit at 500. We'll lock up the last one that was out of range when we first started. Look at all the shiny, bright graphics. Holy. And because we're close, are we orbiting this guy? Who are we orbiting? It should be this guy. Let's get our guns on him. What are we doing? Boom, boom. And we can zoom out and see that they're circling us through this group. We're going to here picking them all apart. It's pretty awesome. It's a little less noisy out here too. Holy. I hope I didn't have that too loud. I've been playing with the sound settings. It should be good. It was good in the last video. So hopefully you guys can hear me well. Alright. Next target. Orbit at 500. Getting quick at those drop-down menus is a really good idea. Because there's situations where what you have set for a default action won't be what you want to do. Like, you may have this set to 30,000, but you want to go closer. It's quicker to just, yeah. So, right-click, orbit, 500, and he's in range, so we're going to start shooting now. He gets a little bit out of range, so we do miss. That's unfortunate. These guns shoot pretty quick, you can see. Just little Star Wars action. Here, let's do this. Hang on. No, don't. Damn, I wasn't fast enough. Wanted to get some good view of it, but I was too slow. We're not going to loot all this. I think we're just going to move on, because they're pretty far away. We'll check this one. Mission complete, Captain. Secret threat in the system has been eliminated. Open the tutorial and complete it. 100,000 ISK. Alright, that's almost enough to do something. Many challenges await you. Leave the solar system and choose your own adventure. Aura will guide you out of the solar system and to new opportunities as you journey. As you begin your journey in New Eden. Okay, so the tutorial is done. Let's activate this one. Your career awaits. And we'll read what it says as we loot these wrecks. So we can close this. Hang on. Loot all. It's time for you to spread your wings, Captain. There are many profitable career paths available to you in New Eden to help you get started, and you should visit one of the career agents. Okay, we can do that. Go to the Agents and Missions tab in the agency and select career agents. Alright. Yeah, this is all going to be junk. I'm not collecting any more of this. It looks like they're not putting any actual loot in the beginning, so that's fine. So we're going to go here. Now we're going to go to another tab. This is your Agents and Missions. So this is a way to find things to do. Mission Agents, Epic Arcs, Agent Finder. Get into that when we need them. Storylines are unavailable at the moment. These are special missions that you get by running other missions. And then Career Agents. This is the one I want everybody to do. And what we'll do is we're going to go in here. We're going to find out where we're going. And then in the next episode, we'll pick up there. So we're going to... These are our... Looks like 1, 2, 3... Yeah, this is our set of career agents that they want us to use. They're 3 jumps away. They're all in one system. Career agents will offer you specialist missions in their chosen field. Once you meet them, in person. Select the agent you are most interested in. Select set destination now. So this is where we're going to leave it. But before we go, and I'm going to probably repeat it in the next video, but I highly, 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 highly recommend that you do each and every one of these, because they're going to show you a different area of the game. These are your base kind of career paths. These are the core things that you can do in EVE. And then from there you decide what you like and what your actual EVE career is going to look like. And it can change, but these are kind of the key elements. Are you, just because you're more interested in combat doesn't mean you don't need to know how to explore and do scanning and that sort of thing, because there are some types of combat that use some exploration. Just because you're not interested in indie doesn't mean you don't want to know, okay, well, this is valuable to the indie guys, I'm going to sell it to them instead of just throwing it away or leaving it in the field. Like so getting at least a baseline introduction to what the different career paths is super important and critical. So I highly recommend, if you stop after this video and don't watch anything else, or even if you do watch it all, go through and do each of these. But that's going to be it for this particular video, guys. I'm going to set our destination to Clelenon. Slelenon. That's an interesting word. We're going to set our destination. No problem. You can see it over here. And in the next episode, we're going to pick up right here with traveling to our career agents.